Yeah,
and Lincoln's also like racist.
Was
he was, dude.
He was a man in the 1800s.
Yeah, in the 1800s. I think they asked him. They're like, so after they're freed, are they going to be able to, own things and vote? And he's like, my God, no.
Yeah.
I like that Ole Miss still has the Rebels as their mascot, because every time I see that guy, like, I guess being from St. Louis, I'm a Yankee, so I'm pro Union. But when I see him, he just seems so blasé, so cool with everything. Like I like that mascot. He
got looks
a
like
cane.
a Southern Uncle Sam.
Yeah, he seems kind of neat, and because they lost, it's like fun. The same way like the Redskins were fun, or the Chicago Blackhawks are fun, or the Braves are fun. It's like, if you guys had won and like really fucked us up, we wouldn't have you as mascots on our sports teams, but you lost, and so we can kind of repatriate that.
Show that, Zach. That is a good mascot. I like that. Well, I mean, 400,000 of you did die in the effort, but I guess it was a victory.
Of you,
like you're drinking victory over Trout. Like, I mean, technically, yeah, but really,
which is funny. I have this debate all the time. All my family is from Western Tennessee, so my ancestors all fought for the Confederacy. But every time the debate comes up, I'm full Union. I'm like, oh, the battle over slavery. It's about states' rights.
It is fun to like be ahistoric and just simplify it for the win and be like, oh, you really needed those blacks to pick cotton for you bastards. And then they have to like do a bunch of like wheelie turn geopolitical discussion of, well, actually it was because of a really complex thing. And it's like, yeah, but what was the crux of it? What was kind of the center point?
Economically, the North was oppressing the South. Why?
It's odd that like if it was,
and they were oppressing the South outside of slavery, they were, but you just center in on the slavery thing.
There's so much nuance to it, but just to make it all about slavery makes them so fucking mad.
Yeah,
the year
I got Kyle fired up just now.
Oh yeah, I mean the war went on for like 20 months or something before the Emancipation Proclamation. That's seems like if it was just about slavery, like that would have been a day one kind of thing for Lincoln. But he did it instead after Gettysburg.
Yeah, he like added something afterwards where it was like, it's like, we were declaring war against the South. And then it was like, yeah, like a year later. And he was like, also, this is because slavery is the thing.
Yeah. And Lincoln's also like racist. He was, dude.
He was a man in the 1800s.
Yeah, in the 1800s. I think they asked him, they're like, so after they're freed, are they going to be able to, own things and vote? And he's like, my God. No.
Yeah. He famously said, yuck.
I'll be shot in the back of the head in the theater before that happens.
That was my next
British man, Abraham Lincoln.
British man. You know what's weird is George Washington spoke like a Brit. I hate that.
No chance.
He had to. He had to have had that foppish, dandy accent.
I think the accent flipped like later on. If I'm remembering correctly, like the American accent, or like essentially how we talk as Northerners, was was the accent, or no. Actually, it was the American Southern accent. I think was the British accent at the time, and that was how everybody in England talked for years and years and years and years. Hi, Chris. And then
I'm back finally.
We're talking about Civil War.
The royal family like changed their accent to the current British accent. And so it became like low class to talk in that way. But I'm pretty sure I might be pulling this out of my ass, but it feels right. It feels too specific for me to make it up. I think the modern American Southern accent is pretty similar to like how British people talked in the like late 18th century.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That is correct. Yeah, I mean, I kind of came in late, but yeah, they it was like during the colonial times, like Boston Tea Party, all that kind of stuff. When we started pulling away from them, yeah, like you said, they started coming up with this sort of fancier accent, dropping the R's, that sort of thing. At least the aristocracy did, to make themselves sound more important and separate themselves from all of us peasants and colonials. And then that just sort of grew over time, similar to that, like mid-Atlantic accent, all the people in like the old like 1930s and 40s kind of Catherine Hepburn style. I mean, Catherine Hepburn type style accent, the darling, that kind of thing. Exactly. Yeah.
That was a fun accent. They should have kept that going.
Yeah, very, very haughty. Oh, that Adolf Hitler fellow, he's a bad egg. That was good.
Yeah.
And
makes a lot of strong points, though.
And funny enough, having an Appalachian American accent as I do, but spending a lot of time in Scotland, a lot of Appalachia was settled by Scottish people. And when I'm over there, like there's some little similarities between my accent and their accent, which pop up here and there. That's kind of funny. You can kind of see the dialect roots between that sort of really cool kind of Scottish brogue and that Southern drawl kind of cross over a lot of times.
Yeah.
And the Scottish
populated by the Scotch Irish.
The Scottish brought us fried chicken, so they're good in my books.
Absolutely. Anybody that shows up with fried chicken is always good.
Yeah. I bet other people were frying chicken throughout, but I think the Scots were the ones who were like, this is fantastic. Like this is all we need to eat.
that and some haggis. But funny enough, you don't find a lot of fried chicken over there now, though. However, the theory I'd always heard with why the South has so much fried food in general is just that you can cook it so much faster. Like back in the days before air-conditioned kitchens, when people are in there over an oven all day long, if it's July in Alabama and you're having to like bake a pot roast for 5 hours, your house is just miserable. And people came up with frying because they could just bust out a chicken or something in 20 minutes and not roast the house out. And that's why we're all overweight and out of shape now, supposedly.
That Philip Morris and the other tobacco companies bought so many food companies back in the day when they saw the writing on the wall and started making all of our processed food more and more addictive using the same team of scientists they used for their tobacco product. Remember,
a lot of old sayings too. Like I think not the origin, but like what we say elephant in the room now is it used to be there's a ninja in the woodpile.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of that? Yeah, that's like an old
That's an expression
saying.
from not Huckleberry Finn. Yeah, I think in Huckleberry Finn. I think they're at I might be pulling this out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure they're at like dinner at the plantation, and you could have just called him Jim, but Ninja Jim is like hanging behind the woodpile, and they're like, "Oh, there's a friend in the woodpile." I think that's where that comes from. Let me double check. I might have just pulled that out of my ass.
Maybe.
I know it's in a David Allan Coe song. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. I didn't know who that was, but I know he's dead.
You didn't know who David Allan Coe is? He sang the greatest country and western song.
I'm sure I heard songs of his. I just didn't know who he was.
Well, it was all that I could do to keep from crying. Since that stuff. And all those, like, he had this Outlaw record that rednecks would play on their trucks really loud when they pulled out of the high school parking lot. And it's just nothing but songs about cum and ninjas and just racism and cum and fucking, and it's just a real outlaw record.
Based. R.I.P. David Allan Coe.
Yeah. That was what's the super racist album that everybody where I grew up used to play out in the country? Is it Johnny Rebel? That guy's he's just racist.
Johnny Rebel is his name?
Is
I think so.
Is that the one that's like, I am a good old rebel and that is what I am. And for this Yankee nation, I do not give a damn.
No, he's like, it's much, much worse.
I'm glad I fought again. I only wish we'd won. We got 400. I don't want any pardon for anything I've done. Yeah. It's. I think it was written clearly after the Civil War, but I don't know. It feels like it was written right after, because whoever's singing this is like super pissed about it.